Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We will begin the afternoon's proceedings in a short while. Please stand by.
So, I need the phone for this too. So bring it back when it's connected.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the TTCSI's and the CEDA's Services Go Global Certification Ceremony. We would like you to please pay attention and be at attention for the beginning of today's proceedings. We will start them off with the playing of the national anthems of both Trinidad and Tobago as well as Barbados. The national anthems, please. you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be at ease momentarily. Good afternoon to you. My name is Jasmine Bento. I'm your moderator for today's event. And it's a very special occasion. It's an occasion to celebrate a great deal of hard work and sacrifice that has been made not only on the part of the agencies that are hosting today's event, but also on the part of those participants who are graduating from today's event. I want to say a very, very special good afternoon to each and every one of you. The Honorable Sandra Husbands, Member of Parliament, Minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade in Barbados, Mr. Mark Edgehill, the President of TTCSI, Mr. Deodat Miraj, the Executive Director at CEDA, Vashti Gayadeen, Chief Executive Officer of TTCSI, Alison Francis, Services Specialist at CEDA, graduates of the Services Global Certification Program, members of staff of the TTCSI, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is a time for celebration this afternoon. Today, we have the very forward-thinking TTCSI and CEDA joining forces to ensure that the future of Caribbean trade and export is secure in the hands of entrepreneurs. Without further ado, and to bring you welcome remarks from one of the key agencies involved in today's proceedings, I open the floor to the President of the TTCSI, Mr. Mark Edgehill. Mr. Edgehill, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Jessie. Our featured speaker, Minister in the Ministry of Foreign Trade and Foreign Affairs, Barbados, the Honorable Sandra Husbands, Member of Parliament, the European Union Ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Peter Cavendish, Mr. Deodat Miraj, Executive Director of Caribbean Export Development Agency, Ms. Alison Francis, Service Specialist of CEDA, Directors of the Boards of Caribbean Export and the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries, Ms. Vashti Gayadeen, CEO of the TTCSI, our distinguished moderator, Jessie Bento, the Services Go Global Certified Company representatives, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is indeed my pleasure to welcome you all to the first Services Go Global certification ceremony, being hosted in collaboration with Caribbean Export Development Agency and other regional coalition service industries. I hope that you are as excited as we are to be part of this first groundbreaking ceremony, which demonstrates the commitment of Caribbean Export in developing the services sector across our region. The challenges being faced through the current pandemic provided us with the ideal opportunity to fully utilize technology to work together as a region, and we can now attest that the network of Caribbean Services Coalitions is truly a functioning network at this point in time. The Services Go Global program was developed to optimize the CARIFORUM region's export of services by building the capacity of service export providers to capitalize on opportunities under the Economic Partnership Agreement, CARICOM Single Market, and other existing third-party trade agreements, and to establish a cadre of certified trainers for the SGG platform geared to assist SMEs in this services sector. These workshops are facilitated by expert trainers across the region who guide participants through a 4-stage roadmap, which covers 4 key areas. Stage 1, preparing a business, which looks at understanding trade and services, assessing export readiness, and developing an export plan. Stage 2, conducting market research, including researching markets, sector, and gathering market intelligence. Stage 3, developing a market strategy, including starting a marketing plan, developing an online strategy for a winning business. And stage 4, entering the market, which reviews market entry options, financing, receiving of payments, and also contracting and legal aspects associated with exporting of services. In this ceremony, we are happy to certify 84 service providers and firms operating in 9 core sectors. The TTCSI, with the support of Caribbean Export, over the past 2 years, has certified over 140 service providers. Over this period, 3 persons emerged winners of the annual Lawrence Placide Services Go Global Award. I would like to congratulate, once again, the 84 certified service providers and firms. We commend you all on taking the necessary actions in enhancing export readiness to expand your businesses regionally and internationally. We stand ready to assist you, and I urge you to use the relationships and networks that you develop during the training program to further the development of your businesses. As the saying goes, to whom much is given, much is required. We encourage you to now utilize the training and coaching you receive to realize significant returns on our investment. In the words of Nobel laureate and economist Joseph Stiglitz, services will be the growth sector in the future, and the TTCSI, together with Caribbean Export and all our local and regional partners, will continue to position ourselves and our service sectors to be ready to capitalize on the growing demand for services. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edgehill. And a good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen, especially those of you who have just joined the proceedings this afternoon. We would have just heard from the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries, Mark Edgehill. And we also will be hearing from the executive director of CEDA, the Caribbean Export Development Agency, Mr. Deodat Mirage. Mr. Mirage, of course, his organization is the other partner involved in this extremely important endeavor to make our firms in the Caribbean region export ready, make them ready to take their services global. Without further ado, Mr. Deodat Mirage.
Master of Ceremonies, the Honorable Minister Sandra Husbands, Minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade of Barbados, a strong and committed partner of our agency. His Excellency Peter Cavendish, Ambassador of the European Union to Trinidad and Tobago, Mark Edgehill, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Service Industries, Vashti Gayadeen, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Service Industries, members of the Caribbean Network of Service Coalitions, participants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, a most pleasant good afternoon to you. Your Caribbean Export Development Agency is pleased to partner with the Caribbean Network of Services Coalitions to host the inaugural Services Go Global certification ceremony. This Services Go Global training program is being undertaken through the agency's implementation of the 11th European Development Fund Regional Private Sector Development Program. And we take this opportunity to thank our partners at the European Union for their continued strong support to advance private sector development across our region. Activities like this takes on even more significance this year, since it provides priority of the highest order as we at the Caribbean Export Development Agency seek to forge relationships that can help advance private sector development across our region as we seek to create jobs and opportunity for our people and fast-track post-COVID-19 recovery and build a resilient Caribbean. Regional services sector development has been at the forefront of the Caribbean Export Development Agency's work, and we are absolutely committed to this agenda. The World Trade Organization reported that for the year 2019, trade and services through all modes of supply were valued at United States dollars 13.3 trillion. This data reflects the reality in many economies where service exports play an especially prominent role. In our context in the Caribbean, trade and services accounts for an estimated 65% of our gross domestic product, and this is largely driven by tourism. With the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, many of us were forced to pause, refocus, retool, and indeed rethink the way we do business. As such, there's room to explore non-tourism related services to generate jobs and foreign exchange in sectors such as music, fashion, animation, and film to help transition as well to a green economy, as well as professional services. As our agency implements its strategic plan over the period 2021 to 2024, entitled Building Business and Transforming Lives for a Resilient Caribbean, the services sector forms a critical pillar as the next frontier for Caribbean business. Caribbean Export is committed to helping our region diversify our services sector and providing our regional businesses with a better chance to compete, creating jobs and opportunity for our people in these unprecedented times that we live in. One such program is our flagship Services Go Global Export Accelerator program, which has been designed specifically to support service sector exporters to penetrate overseas markets. The main objective of the Services Go Global program is to assess service firms in various sectors to improve their competitiveness and achieve success in the global export marketplace. Moreover, the program optimizes the CARIFORUM region's export of services by building the capacity of service providers to capitalize on opportunities under the CARIFORUM EU and UK economic partnership agreements, Caribbean Single Market, and other existing third-party trade agreements. Export readiness is the ultimate objective, as participants are guided through a four-stage roadmap, which covers areas including market research, developing an online strategy, and entering the market. A major aspect of the program is the provision of coaching and mentorship because we are committed to success and to you succeeding towards assisting participants in the completion of the export plans. The implementation of one's export plan will be critical to your success and increase exports. In this regard, your Caribbean export will focus on the services sector, including music, fashion, animation and film, green technology, as well as professional services, which will subsequently help businesses take advantage of opportunities provided by digitalization, including strengthening capacities, as these will be key dimensions for the success of businesses across our region. I am pleased to know that we have over 130 participants here who have successfully completed the Services Go Global training from across our region. We at Caribbean Export are committed to taking businesses to the next level. And upon completing this program, you have proved that you are ready to embark on this journey with us. In this regard, in doing so, as part of the ceremony, Caribbean Export has provided the opportunity for all the participants from the different trainings to network through one common platform, exchanging on your respective areas, issues pertaining to the sectors and opportunities, etc. This network this networking helps to build a strong community of service providers that can continue to exchange on pertinent issues crucial to services private sector development. In the coming weeks, Caribbean Export will be hosting a showcase and business-to-business session, which will provide a unique opportunity for Caribbean firms to build partnerships and collaboration between services firms in Latin America, Europe, Africa, and the United States of America, as well as Canada, to improve their international position and achieve sustainable economic growth. On behalf of Caribbean Export, I would like to congratulate all the services exporters who have leveraged this program thus far. Special mention must also go to our strong partners, the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Service Industries, for supporting the implementation of the SGG program and for developing the online interactive catalog. The services sector is the next frontier for Caribbean business, and Caribbean Export is committed to working with our partners to help realize the full potential of the services sector as we seek to transform our economies, create jobs, and build a resilient Caribbean. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mirage, for those warm remarks. And we continue with the afternoon's proceedings. We have come now to a special part of the proceedings. We will be hearing from the Chief Executive Officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Service Industries, Vashti Gayadeen. Once again, though, we extend a very, very warm welcome to our international partner, His Excellency Peter Cavendish, Ambassador of the delegation of the European Union to Trinidad and Tobago, and an especially warm welcome to a woman who has promised to be a champion for this particular project of the TTCSI and CEDA, the Honorable Sandra Husbands, Minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade of Barbados. And now, without further ado, let us hear from the Chief Executive Officer of the TTCSI, Ms. Vashti Gayadeen, who will explain why they've been working so hard to ensure that services go global.
Thank you, Jessie. The Honorable Sandra Husbands, Minister in the Ministry of Foreign Trade and Foreign Affairs, Barbados, His Excellency Peter Cavendish, European Union Ambassador to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Deodat Maraj, Executive Director, CEDA, Ms. Alison Francis, Services Specialist, CEDA, Directors of the Board of Caribbean Export and the TTCSI, Distinguished Moderator, Jessie B. Venture, esteemed Services Go Global graduates, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Permit me, if you will, to take you to the early 20th century. I am about to share with you an excerpt from Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, How Great Leaders Inspire Everyone to Take Action. And the story goes, the goal was ambitious. Public interest was high. Experts were eager to contribute. Money was readily available. Armed with every ingredient for success, Samuel Langley set out in the early 1900s to be the first man to pilot an airplane. Highly regarded, he was a senior officer at the Smithsonian Institution, a mathematics professor who had also worked at Harvard. His friends included some of the most powerful men in government and business, including Andrew Carnegie and Alexander Graham Bell. Langley was given a US $50,000 grant from the War Department to fund his project, a tremendous amount of money for the time. He pulled together the best minds of the day, a dream team of talent and know-how. Langley and his team used the finest materials, and the press followed him everywhere. People all over the country were riveted to the story, waiting to read that he had achieved his goal. With the team he had gathered and ample resources, his success was guaranteed, or was it? A few hundred miles away, Wilbur and Orville Wright were working on their own flying machine. Their passion to fly was so intense that it inspired the enthusiasm and commitment of a dedicated group in their hometown of Ohio. There was no funding for the adventure, no government grants, no high-level connections. Not a single person on the team had an advanced degree or even college education, not even Wilbur or Orville. But the team banded together in a humble bicycle shop and made their vision real. On December 17th, 1903, a small group witnessed a man take flight for the first time in history. How did the Wright brothers succeed where a better equipped, better funded, and better educated team could not? It was not luck. Both the Wright brothers and Langley were highly motivated. Both had a strong work ethic. Both had keen scientific minds. They were pursuing exactly the same goal, but only the Wright brothers were able to inspire those around them and truly lead their team to develop a technology that would change the world. Only the Wright brothers started with why. End of quotation. Ladies and gentlemen, services in the Caribbean are the Wright brothers. Our vision and mission are clear. Every participant of the Services Go Global program knew why they started this journey. And this is what we are celebrating today. The services sector is the vehicle to transform the economies of CARIFORUM states. On this note, I will now provide you with the evidence. I am pleased to provide you with a sneak peek of the region's first electronic services catalog, which highlights certified service providers in 9 sectors across the Caribbean region. And secondly, let's hear from the graduates themselves. Kavita.
Could you repeat what you said, if you don't mind, please? I'm not quite sure what you want me to say.
Hi, my name is Jason Lindsay, and I operate a studio, an animation studio in Port of Spain, Trinidad, called Full Circle Animation. We have had a relationship now with TTCSI since the company has been formed, and it is an organization that is suited towards helping SMEs, especially those involved in the service sector, to be able to understand their product, so to speak, and value proposition within the services space, and know how to be able to attract business and conduct business of a service. In our case, it's a digital service. There really are no limitations in how we provide that service with the benefit of the internet and the technology that goes with that. There are no limits with respect to exports and imports. A lot of the business and the product and the service is transacted and transmitted online. So in a way, the services goes global training has allowed us to sort of be mindful of that and really focus on the audiences and the clientele that we want to pursue. One of the more fundamental elements of it has been helping us to shape and craft an export plan. So in a way, the services goes global training has allowed us to sort of be mindful of that and really focus on the audiences and the clientele that we want to pursue. One of the more fundamental elements of it has been helping us to shape and craft an export plan. Naturally, we do not, because we operate in the digital economy, we do not think of things in terms of exports of services, but really, the reality is when you have to market products and services and offer them and have them be relevant to clientele that are beyond your, whether it be country or culture, I think you still have to think of it in terms of exporting services. And in our case, it's a cultural and creative product. And more so, we have to be able to understand how our service in the creative digital space is relevant or is needed by clients and an audience abroad. And the services goes global training has allowed us to do that, has allowed us to really focus on, things like the value proposition, the markets, how clientele and audience will see our product and find value in it. And it really has allowed us to focus. And because of that, we've now been able to have more meaningful discussions and dialogue about our offerings to clientele abroad. We have put together an export plan. We're very grateful for it. And sometimes, when you're into the thing that you do and the services that you provide, I think one of the biggest flows for us, or for any company, for any small company in general, is to be able to appreciate and understand what that service means to a customer. I found a tremendous value in being guided through the program to be able to think in a way that will allow us to present that plan how it should be. And we're grateful for it.
Hi, I'm Isaac Ali. I'm the founder of iFusion TT Technologies. We've been in business well over 18 years. We commenced business as a web development company. But over the last 5 years or so, we have since diversified into disaster recovery. Servicing the local IT market has been rewarding, but over the years, it became evident that expansion to the region would enable new business prospects for us. We grabbed the opportunity TTCSI offered through the platform of the Go Global training platform, which provided a definitive path to exporting our services. The program helped us create an export plan. It helped us craft our marketing strategy, identify avenues for financing. It helped us understand the legal parameters for market entry. In essence, we refined our product for the open regional market. Through the training of the Go Global platform, we were able to identify and capture a database of potential customers in our CRM, connect our services to these customers, and foster new relationships and business projects within the region. Hope this helps kickstart the process of other persons interested in expanding their business portfolio for both regional and international markets.
Hello everyone, my name is Ricardo Borja and I am from Belize. I'm the lead consultant and business partner at JC Consulting Belize Limited. Through the Belize Coalition of Service Providers, I was able to take part in the Services Go Global training, which it enhanced me and enhanced my personal skills to become a better entrepreneur. Through the Services Go Global training, I was able to take part in expanding my services to another region. Now, JC Consultant Belize, thanks to the training that we went through, do not only provide services to our local Belizean people, but also to many clients, including the USA, the UK, Canada, and Central America. The valuable lessons, methods, and business skills that we learned during the training, thanks to our professional trainers and thanks to our training peers that we were able to discuss, advise, develop, and help each other to make each of our business a better one. The Services Go Global training is a very unique training that I advise anyone to take part if you want to become a better entrepreneur and take your services to another level. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lara Quentrell Thomas. I'm a past president of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries, as well as the chairman of Regency Recruitment and Resources Limited. I completed the Services Go Global training because I really felt that it was going to be helpful to plot out how we export our services at Regency. As an HR services provider, we had already done some exports, some work with foreign firms and in other countries, but we really didn't have a plan on how we were going to expand that side of our business. And one of the great things about the SGG program was the roadmap. It really takes you step by step through the export process to make sure that you don't miss anything, make sure that you're detail oriented and thorough. So I would highly recommend it to any SME, any firm really that's thinking about exporting their services. It's very detail oriented, it's very thorough. It's really a super way to get you thinking about the nitty gritty of exporting and, of course, putting it into place, actually successfully exporting your services to the Caribbean and the wider world. So sign up today.
Through the direct support of the Belize Coalition of Service Providers, our company was able to participate in the 2020 Services Go Global Export Readiness Training Program. The 5-day program allowed us the opportunity to enhance the strength of our existing export marketing strategy while equipping us with the relevant tools necessary to identify areas for improvement that will lead to export growth opportunities in the region and beyond. The brainstorming and group collaboration activities undertaken during the Services Go Global training program played a pivotal role in preparing our company to be strategically positioned to take on the export planning process in a more effective manner. The exchange of knowledge by both trainers and regional peers was invaluable and an experience that was second to none. At the end of the training program, we had a concise export services plan ready to catapult our business to the next level. In addition, we developed and solidified meaningful collaborations that will last us a lifetime.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have issued a call for action today. We must all play our part in ensuring that services is on the front burner. On this note, I welcome the Honorable Sandra Husbands, the Services Champion of the Caribbean region. Minister.
Hi, good afternoon to all. It is indeed my pleasure to be here with you on this wonderful occasion. It is really remarkable what we can do when we actually do things together. So let me first start by greeting the Honorable, His Excellency, Mr. Peter Cavendish, Ambassador of the European Union to Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Mark Edgell, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Service Industries, Ms. Vashti Gayadeen, CEO of TTCSI, Mr. Deodat Maharaj, Executive Director of Caribbean Export Development Agency, Ms. Alison Francis, Services Specialist of CEDA. Greetings to everyone. I want to congratulate the combined venture between Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Service Industry, the Caribbean Export Development Agency, and the European Union in the provision of training for Trinidadian and CARICOM service providers to improve the export plan of their services. This is CSME in action. Also, let me congratulate you on opening up the annual Caribbean Lawrence Placide Service Go Global Award to 2 Caribbean enterprises. I want to be able to congratulate you on doing so well. I understand that you successfully completed the Services Go Global training program. Now, this award is an exciting and timely opportunity to the winners to build on their competencies as service exporters and to position themselves to expand the businesses they have during this COVID-19 pandemic. This award can therefore assist the service business to create jobs for Caribbean citizens and contribute positive economic growth for our countries. This will allow our economies to recover from the pandemic. The expansion of this reward is a true display of regional camaraderie among Caribbean islands And again, I cannot stress enough how much we have needed more CSME togetherness in action. So thank you for giving me the chance to address you here this evening. Now, unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic has limited our interactions and hence physical gatherings, which was once something taken for granted. Now we have to do it virtually. Part of our routine over the years has now been replaced by the virtual space, and our businesses and their offerings must, however, move forward using this space as much as possible, irrespective of coronavirus. In other words, we have to learn to live with it. The services sector has become one of the most important economic activity drivers in our regional economies. The services sector in the Caribbean is crucial for providing strong economic growth and creating a source of jobs for Caribbean nationals. The statistics illustrate that the services sector contributes a range of 43 to 86% of the gross domestic product among Caribbean economies. Our countries are therefore fully dependent on this service activity. This is clearly seen by our dependence on tourism and tourism-related services. According to the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, in 2019, tourism services accounted for approximately 13.9% of the Caribbean's gross domestic product and 15.2% of the total employment. These statistics rank the Caribbean as having the highest dependency ratio on tourism services because they represent the highest contribution to GDP in the world. There will therefore be very little surprise when I tell you that our country suffered the worst GDP decline of the order of 20% compared with non-tourism dependent economies whose shrinkage was between 8 and 12. This is because the tourism industry was one of the worst affected services sectors during the COVID-19 pandemic. Countries across the world closed their borders to curb the spread of the virus. And this, along with the suspension of cruise operators, led to a steep decline in tourist arrivals for the Caribbean. For Barbados, our statistics from the central bank revealed that for January until September 2020, Barbados experienced a 90% fall in long-stay visitors. Additionally, Barbados hotel occupancy rates dropped to almost half the occupancy rate in 2019. This fall off in the tourism industry had a significantly negative impact on the economic growth of our country. Barbados economic activity contracted by as much as 18% for the year 2020. The drop in tourism activity in the Caribbean contributed to the fall in economic activity in the following sectors: manufacturing, transport, retail, food distribution, and real estate for the year 2020. The fall in tourism activity then led to significant increases in unemployment rates across the region, ranging from 13% to above 30% in 2020. And when we use these statistics, let us remember that these are families who are struggling to put food on the table and to keep the roof over their head, and who are seeing their dreams melting in the sun. The financial services sector is the second largest contributor to the GDP in the Caribbean. But sadly, the financial services sector was the next major services sector affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Caribbean Development Bank reported that the Cayman Islands and the Virgin Islands reported lower revenue inflows from their financial services sector. In 2020, this widened the primary fiscal deficit, which averaged 5% in comparison to 0.9% in 2019. Essentially, the service industry in the Caribbean region was completely decimated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic also had a crippling effect on our public finances. And as we know, these finances were already weakened before the pandemic. Our governments had to utilize additional financial and medical resources to fortify the resilience of our health systems, stimulate economic activity, and provide social protection to the most vulnerable persons in the region. The COVID-19 pandemic meant that the regional governments had then to use their revenue and borrow funds to be able to source vaccines and other medical resources instead of paying off their debt. So we're more indebted today. It must be noted, though, that the services industry in the Caribbean was not only affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The services industry was also affected by the negative impact of blacklisting from the European Union and the recent implementation of a 15% corporate tax rate across the world. In December 2017, the EU published a list of countries which they believe did not do enough to curb international tax evasion and tackle unfair tax practices. The EU's blacklist consisted of small economies like those in the Caribbean, which are mostly known for attracting offshore business, international business, and foreign direct investment. In 2020, more CARICOM member states were added to the blacklist of non-cooperative tax jurisdictions, and they were identified as being insufficient in the area of anti-money laundering, countering the financing of terrorism. The CARICOM member states affected by the revision of the blacklist included the US Virgin Islands, it included Cayman Islands, and Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, this blacklisting has significantly impacted countries across the Caribbean. What it did was it made our countries less attractive due to our presence on the blacklist. International businesses will therefore think long and carefully before they set up in our jurisdiction. So our services industry is being put under more pressure by the recent announcement now of a global minimum corporate tax of 15%. And unfortunately, this agreement will further squeeze the Caribbean as it struggles to limit its debt burden. This means that with 15% global tax rate, larger multinational corporations will be limited in their desire to seek the Caribbean for our low tax attributes. So the combination of these two things have signaled an urgent need to diversify the Caribbean services sector. The impact on tourism, the impact on financial services, there's an urgent need to diversify. That's why what you're doing today is so important. It is important to note that I'm not saying that we have to completely neglect tourism or the financial services sector. I'm, however, a firm believer that there is more untapped potential for the services sector to generate more economic growth for our region's economies. And your presence and your functioning every day is testimony to that fact. I strongly believe that the regional governments and the private sector must work together to diversify the services sector into areas such as information and communications technology, education, culture, health and wellness services. So you can imagine my joy in hearing the executive director for CEDA outlining areas in which they're going to give support for services. So we eagerly look forward to that. This diversification into other service areas will decrease Caribbean's dependence on financial and tourism-related services for economic growth. Moreover, the COVID-19 pandemic has clearly illustrated that the days of relying on just one sector for growth are going, or they have already gone. We in the region must therefore come together and find additional areas of economic growth through services. So as a result, our regional service strategy group comes to mind that is being moved forward by the CARICOM Secretariat, and of which many of you sitting here will become a part. I see this strategy as urging Barbados and the wider Caribbean to diversify the sectors in the following areas: that we pursue health and wellness, professional services, renewable energy services, ICT services, education, culture, creative industries, and financial services. Before the implementation of these services, the strategy group would examine the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats to these service sectors. And no doubt you covered some of that in your program. The decimation of the tourism and tourism-related services sector highlighted the need for a more resilient and robust services sector in the Caribbean. Services innovation then is going to be crucial in creating resilient, robust, and competitive services in the region. This services innovation can be achieved through increasing the use of ITC services to be able to reach a global audience. The use of the virtual space is ideal to showcase our cultural arts, the delivery of consulting services or educational services to a broader global audience. However, a resilient services sector must surpass more than just the increased use of ICT. As the Deputy Secretary General of UNCTAD, Isabel Durant, stated during the recently concluded UNCTAD conference, to build resilience, countries in the Caribbean need to further diversify and upgrade their economy. This requires coherent and supportive policies and regulations such as trade policies to reach foreign markets and benefit from foreign inputs, industrial policies to address structural gaps and support diversification and upgrading strategies, and the use of a holistic government approach and coordination with civil society and critically the private sector, including our business and professional associations. So in closing, the regional governments cannot diversify the services sector alone. The regional governments and private sector must work together to build out other services sectors to support the Caribbean economies when the activity in the tourism sector is so minuscule. We must include the Caribbean consumer in our initiatives as well, to help to broaden and educate their tastes so that they begin to support our regional goods and services. Getting some consumers on board to recognize that their deliberate and rational decision to support their economies, jobs, and social services will add to our success. Wooing global consumers, both near and far, with the excellence of our service and the value proposition which we bring is then the ultimate key. It now only remains for me to wish for you to enjoy the remainder of the Services Go Global ceremony and to sincerely congratulate the certificate awardees who have succeeded in this program. I salute you. And to the coordinators of this Go Global program, I want to salute your vision, your energy, and your commitment, because it is through this that this was made possible. I wish you every success in your export endeavors.
Thank you, Madam Minister, for your very, very powerful address and for that rallying cry. I'm sure that many of our participants in today's program have been inspired by the gauntlet that you tossed down, so to speak, and most definitely feel up to the challenge. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the part of today's program that you've all been looking forward to, the presentation of your certificates. A wise man once said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single solitary step. And SGG graduates, you are well on your way in your success journey because you've taken the big step of participating in the Services Go Global program. So congratulations to each and every one of you. Congratulations to Denise Alyong Thomas, Nisha Amichan, Oshea Antoine, Elise August, Anne Austin, Cheryl-Ann Batiste, Suzette Batiste, Frank Barnes, Keisha Beth, Marlon Ben, Anita Boland, Shelley Braffett, Anthea Branford, Sandra Britton, Stephen Broadbridge, Aileen Bruce, Nadine Buckland, Mervyn Budram, Onika Bushnell, Lisa Callender, Avril Cayenne, Eastlyn Cayenne Lawson, Skitter Celestin, Lincoln Charles, Christopher Chinapoo, Dale Cozier, Janelle Diaz Cummings, Elspeth Duncan, Makeda Daiz, Curtis Edwards, Tracy Edwards, Brenston Francois, Kimana Gillette, Rondell Glasgow, Larry Gopal, Shinali Gopal, Antonia Golston, Tracy Hackshaw, Carolyn Hale, Melanie Hippolyte, Troy Holder, Wanderly Homer, Deborah Hoyt, Natalie Jackman Eibel, Janelle Humphrey, Leslie Ann Jordan Miller, Charmaine Joseph, Crystal Legras, Buddy Magana, Emily Magana, Francisco Magana Pop, Megs Magana, Dinesh Mahabir, Sheldon Marcel, Nirmala Matmungal, Akeen Matthews, Brent Mead, Nicole Nelson, Tobias Otley, Xiomara Overman, Pamela Gomez, Teresa Polion, Trisha Polaya, Doreen Boucher, Mortimer Primo, Gail Rajkumar, Siljan Ramphal, Daria Robinson Ernest, Miranda Rupchan, Devon Samlal Singh, Sachin Sankar, Shastri Sankar, Varun Santu, Chiron Seret, Lisa Shandilia, Richard Smith, Valencia Smith Langstaff, Shanta Sukhdeo Singh Suku, Zema Bianca St. Louis, Jeannie Stephen, Luann Sylvester, Kamara Lani Tarada, Akil Yearwood, Latanya Yearwood. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States participants, we want to salute you and celebrate all of our Eastern Caribbean states participants. And they are Paul Alvarez, Roberto Arreola, Keisha Arzu, Rashid Arzu, Omar Arzu, Celia Agustin, Miguelito Barrientos, Rosendo Bol, Ricardo Borja, Dwight Brown, Mervyn Budram, Ivan Burfitt, Lisa Callender, Kareem Carcamo, Haider Carrillo, Joshua Carrillo, Jude Castillo, Barrington Castillo, William Castro, Dale Kozia, Dwayne Cruz, Carlos Delgado, Tracy Edwards, Tracy Farin, Janine Fletcher-Taylor, Culture Flores, Kashif Flores, Troy Flowers, Kairan Gabriel, Shane Guillory, Melanie Gillette, Henry Gomez, Farah Guerrero, Christian Gutierrez, Samuel Harris, Norman Hazelwood, Karen Headley Lucas, Jamie Hines, Melanie Hippolyte, Troy Holder, Roman Hunter, Ruben Iko, Loretha James, Pascale Juane, Leslie Jenkins, Tyrone Knight, Kenrick Lewis, Buddy Magana Jr., Owen Magdaleno, Juan Mendez, Harley Middleton, Hector Middleton, Tina Mora, Delcia Morara, Mario Norales, Sidney Nunez, Molly Nunez, Al Obando, Stephen Odell, Alexi Ordonez, Rashid Palacio, Stephen Ponton, Cornell Parks, Loreto Palayo, Stephen Petillo, Giselle Pilgrim, Francisco Pop, Jamie Quijano, Gregory Raju, Emily Ramirez, Darnike Renault, Sehon Richards, Janelle Rojas, Ashley Rock, John Sabal, Darina Sabal, James Sanka, David Smith, Sherelle Storr, Eustace Thomas, Emilio Thomas, Charlotte Thomas, Garif Valentine, Keisha Westby, Shauna Williams, Ian Yakab, Megs Yearwood, Latanya Yearwood, and Nicole Zetina. Congratulations to each and every one of you. And now that we have heard from we have celebrated our participants, it is time to hear from the other chief partner in today's proceedings and in the Services Go Global program. Let us hear from the services specialist at CEDA, Ms. Allison Francis. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. Minister Sandra Husband in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Barbados. His Excellency, Mr. Peter Cavendish, EU Ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Mark Edgell, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalitions of Services Industry. Mr. Deodat Maharaj, Executive Director of Caribbean Export Agency. Ms. Vashti Gayadi, the CEO of TTCSI. On behalf of Caribbean Export, it's really a pleasure to be part of this certification ceremony for the Services Go Global. I would like to first thank the EU for its continued support, which has allowed us to execute this training and all the trainings that we have done thus far. To the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Service Industries for spearheading the organization of all the training for this year. Of all other participating coalitions as part of the Caribbean Network of Services Coalitions. Thank you. I also want to thank the trainers who really worked hard with the participants. I know at many times, it was like, Alison, I think I'm going to stop, or Vashti, I think it was time to stop, but we pushed and they continue to push on. So I want to thank the trainers who really gave their all and to ensure that the participants completed the export plan, or most of the participants would have completed export plans. And most importantly, to all the participants of the Services Go Global training program. I must say, over the last few days, Vashti and I have been having quite a bit of exchange on the services sector and what we see going in. Listening to some of the stories that was out there, gave me in particular a real positive energy to continue the process. Hearing from the participants how the Services Go Global has impacted or will be impacting on their business going forward. As our Executive Director mentioned, as Caribbean Export implements our strategic plan, and we position the services export as the next frontier to Caribbean business, I do believe that not only the Services Go Global program, but services sector in of itself, really and truly, it would be the engine for the resilient Caribbean that we need to see coming out of this pandemic. Without being too technical because of how we trade services, I believe this is a time for us really and truly embrace the services sector, embrace what we do, and forge ahead. I'm really pleased in terms of how this program was conducted, because we do not do it, and this is how we learned from the pandemic, where it all went fully virtual. I mean, had it not been for the pandemic, we would have done individual trainings at national level. But because of the pandemic, and we made that pivot, we made that switch, we were able to have a regional effort for all the sectors that we did undertake. And I think that was a positive part of the training. And out of that, we had individual groups set up for each of the sectors for which we have had the training. And this afternoon, we get the opportunity as part of the ceremony and the networking session that comes after, for all the sectors to come together and to network and to share on experiences, share on opportunities, to share on challenges as we build this community for the services sector. From a Caribbean export standpoint, and as we push to make services the next frontier, we can take you this far. And I want to urge all the participants of the Services Go Global to ensure that you continue with your development and your completion of your export plans. And more importantly, in the implementation of your export plans, so that we do from an individual perspective and as a region, we get the impact that we want to see. We get the results that we want to see. And so later on, as we go into our networking session, I want you to share your experiences so that you can develop individually and we can develop as a region. In our discussions earlier with the minister, we spoke of the regional integration. And I saw it when we pulled up and I saw the different success stories. And I recall one particular story when the gentleman from Belize spoke of the fact that he's not now trading only within Belize and providing service within Belize, but within the rest of the region and internationally. And that's what we want. I believe that the Services Go Global program can help with the regional integration process. Okay, so I want to appeal to you as we close up the ceremony for persons to you would have sent out the link and everything so that all session that would follow, as well as to register for the upcoming services showcase and B2B, which will be held the 10th and the 11th of November. And you can reach out through the coalition, the network of services coalitions, your national coalitions, through TTCSI for all the further information for your full participation in the showcase. I believe it is an opportunity for you to not only strengthen your regional networking, but it will be an opportunity where you'll meet with firms from the Latin America, as it will be part of the ALICE conference, where we meet with the Latin American Services Association. So you get to interact with persons from Latin America. We get to interact with buyers from Africa, buyers from the European Union, North and South America. So I also want to appeal to persons to register and to be part of this process. I also want to just remind persons as we go forward in this networking and building the community, as you go forward in your implementation of the plan, that you, for those who have not done so as yet, to be part of your national coalition, so we can build that strength as a business support organization, as bodies. Also to register for services registries so that we are better informed of who exists within the sector, and we can be more targeted in our interventions as Caribbean Export and as part of the coalitions. So once again, to all the participants, congratulations, job well done. It has just started. We want to see a successful trajectory as you go forward. This is only the beginning. It's not going to be easy. The minister said it in her remarks. We know persons are thinking about the food on the table, there are all other issues. But we are here for you. We're here to support you. As an agency, we are here to support you through the coalitions and the network of coalitions, service providers. So we want to encourage you not to give up, and that we are here to support you and utilize our community to help you to get to the next level. So as we close, once again, we look forward to a good, successful networking session as we build a community of service providers for the Caribbean and beyond. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you very much, Alison Francis, for your closing remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know that The session is not yet over because there is still that special networking session with our friends at CEDA, the Caribbean Export Development Agency, that B2B networking session. So please do not sign out yet. Mr. Mirage and Allison and the rest of the team at CEDA are standing by to link with you and help you network with others who would help you take your service global. Thank you so much, and congratulations once again to each and every one of you.